Hello and welcome to CKE 10,001's gaming channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my Tokyo Revengers Dual Laners deck profile. This deck build was used a lot in, I guess, competitive play. I was able to build a deck because I bought a playset for Tokyo Revengers, and the deck's pretty fun. It does have its flaws, but it builds a lot of stock and has kind of a combo turn to finish the game. This is, I guess, my variation of it. You can change up the build how you would like. Add in more consistency cards or more copies of cards, or another different minor combo known as the Paijin combo if you wanted to add it in. But yeah, so here is my version of it, or at least the version I'm trying out at the moment. So I'm running 3 copies of the Ricky. You can bump this up to 4 if you would like, but it has 2 effects. The first is the Ricky effect, which is pay 1, take a hit, and you can search your deck for a level 1 or lower card. And the second effect is when this card is placed on stage, you can shuffle 2 characters back to your deck. If you do, this card gets 2,000 power. You usually use that to grab your level 1 combo. Or maybe you're missing pieces for the level 1 combo to stay consistent. Then I'm running 3 copies of the Brainstormer Special Person Emma. It has 2 effects. The first is when you play a climax, you can choose one of your characters, and that character gets the following ability until the end of turn, which is when it attacks, look at top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 on top of your deck and 1 into your weight room, so you can stack your trigger check. And the second effect is the Brainstorm effect. Pay 1, rest this, flip over 4 cards, and for each climax reveal, you can perform the following action. Look up to 3 cards from top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from one of them, put it in your hand, put the rest into your weight room. Now I'm running 4 copies of Revenge Takemichi. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, if your opponent has 1 or less other characters in the center stage, you can choose a cost 0 or lower character in the center stage and put it into your weight room. And then the second effect is when this card is placed on stage, you can take a hit. If you do, put the top card of your top card of your deck into your stock. So you take a hit and get 1 free stock that's blind. Then running 2 copies of My Treasure Baji. It has 2 effects. The first is during your opponent's turn, when this card becomes reversed, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, rest this card, and at the beginning of your next Encore step, put this card in your memory. And it has a second effect, which is pay 1, put this card in your weight room. Look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 revenge character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest into your weight room. And 1 copy of Draken and Mikey and Takemichi. When this card is placed on stage from your hand or put into your weight room from the stage, you can pay 1, pitch a card. If you do, choose a character in your weight room, return it to your hand. Then 4 copies of 7th Elementary Mikey. I'm running 4 copies. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage, this card gets plus X power until end of turn. X equals the number of characters your opponent has times 1,000. And the second effect is when this card is placed on stage from hand, put 1 revenge character from your hand into your clock. If you do, look up to 5 cards from top of your deck, choose up to 1 character from among them, reveal your opponent, put your hand, put the rest into your weight room. So a lot of cards to try to dig for your level 1. Then I'm running 3 copies of Bodyguard Squad Mitsuya. It has 2 effects. The first is auto. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can discard a card. If you do, choose one of your other characters, put it face up underneath this card as a marker. At the beginning of your next draw phase, choose 1 character from the markers underneath this card and put it on any position or stage. So you usually use this to save your level 1. And then the second effect is activate, pay 1, rest this card, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has a soul trigger icon on it, you put it into your hand. Then your level 1. It's kind of the key card for the deck. The enemy in front of you, Chifuyu. If you have 1 or less other characters in your center stage, this card gets plus 4,000 power continuous. And at the beginning of your attack phase, if this card is standing and there are 1 or less other characters in your center stage, all your characters in your center stage get the following ability until end of turn. When this card attacks, you may choose one revenge character in your waiting room and put it into your stock. So if you have 2 copies in the front row, they both trigger, and they can stock charge 3 cards by themselves. So 2 from the waiting room and their trigger check. So you're building 6 cards. Sorry, you're building 6 stock a turn with the 2 copies in the front line. And then you build a lot of stock for your finisher combo level 3. Yeah, for your finisher combo level 3. Then I'm running 3 copies of 2nd Division Captain Mitsuya. It has 2 effects. The first is when your character trigger check reveals a climax with a soul icon, double soul icon in its trigger. You may discard a revenge character from your hand into waiting room. If you do, choose one character in your waiting room, return to your hand. And the second effect is activate. Choose in your waiting room one character with the same card name as a character in your stage or your opponent's stage, and return it to your hand. And the cost is put 1 card from your hand in your waiting room and rest 2 of your characters. Then I'm running 3 copies of the Takemichi backup, 1/2500 backup. Main reason you run this is because it has a soul trigger icon, so you can grab it with your class cards. Then I'm running 1 copy of the early play special person Hina. If you have 4 more revenge characters, this gets -1 level in your hand. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put 1 other revenge character from your stage into your waiting room. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. Then 1 copy of Unwavering Loyalty Chifuyu. It has 2 effects. The first is when the card is placed on stage, you can draw up to 2 cards, choose 2 cards in your hand, put them into your waiting room, and then put 1 card from the top of your deck into your stock. Second effect, when this card attacks, you can pay 3 stock. If you do, your opponent puts all stock into their waiting room and puts the same amount on cards from the top of their deck into their stock. So the stock wash. Then I'm running 4 copies of Apologize Properly Mitsuya. The first effect is when the card is placed on stage, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X equals to the total number of soul trigger icons and the trigger icons of this card. Of those cards, sorry, of the cards put into the waiting room. And as a class combo, when this card attacks, if captain of the bodyguard squad is in your class area, you can choose up to 1 card in your opponent's waiting room, put it on top of their deck, and this card gets plus 6,000 power until the end of the turn. Then I'm running 4 copies of Kids Meal Mikey. Sorry about that. The memory card got full. So, like I was saying, I'm running 4 copies of Kids Meal Mikey. It has 3 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may choose 1 revenge character in your waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. Second effect, when this card attacks, you can put all markers underneath this card to the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, deal 1 damage X times to your opponent. X equals to the number of markers put at the bottom of your deck for the cost of this ability. And the third effect, is at the beginning of the Encore step, if you do not have another rested character in your center stage, you can pay 1. If you do, rest this card. So pay 1 Encore. Then I'm running 2 copies of our Everything Baji. It has 2 effects. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, choose a climax card in your waiting room, return it to your hand. And then the second effect is the climax combo. At the end of this card's attack, you may pay the cost, which is pay 8 stock, pitch 3 cards, and put 4 other characters from your stage face up in any order underneath this card as a marker, and put 1 we will entrust our Everything to You climax card from your climax center into the waiting room. If you do, choose 1 Kids Meal Mikey in your waiting room, put it on the stage position that this card was on, and put this card and all the markers underneath this card face up under that Kids Meal Mikey in any order as markers. And then the last cards are the class cards. I'm running 4 copies of Captain of the Bodyguard Squad, 2 copies of The First Person I Wanted to Follow, and 2 copies of We'll Entrust Our Everything to You. Alright, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check EncoreDecks.com and the link in the description below to see an overview of this deck build.